You're one of these folk who actually says Rishi Sunak should be using the NHS despite his wealth. Why?
Yeah, of course he should, because, you know, people are entitled to have private healthcare as regular folk. But I think there is a serious problem with the Prime Minister, who is meant to be in charge of the NHS, saying that if he's using private healthcare. And we have heard before that he's used private healthcare. So I think it's reasonable to assume that the reason he didn't answer the question was because he does use a private GP. And the problem with that is that if he thinks the NHS isn't good enough for him, then why should it be good enough for the rest of us?
That's not the reason he's not using it. You know, I think he should be congratulated for paying privately, because he's taken a burden off an overstretched NHS. But most importantly, this is the Prime Minister we're talking about. He can't wait 2 weeks to see a GP.
Why should the rest of us?
Well, no one should. But he's running the country, Ben. He can't wait 2 weeks to see a GP. He can't wait 5 months for a scan.
Carol, why was he not brave enough to say that? Because Thatcher made that exact point. Yeah. She said, I'm sorry, I pay the extra money so that I can get a GP appointment whenever I need.
It's absolutely true.
She was brave.
When Laura Kuenssberg was asking him there, he looked shifty. And this adds to the perception that there's something dirty about the words private health. Yeah. No, there isn't. I think anyone who can afford to pay privately should pay privately. I'm not talking about billionaires like Sunak. I'm talking about people on 6 figures, because that would take the burden off the NHS. Belinda is exactly right.
No.
It's the most badly run business in the country.
Sorry. I mean, I'm not saying that private healthcare shouldn't exist for those who wish to pay for it, but you do not have a responsibility just because the NHS is being mismanaged. People who are on high incomes are paying a lot more national insurance. They've paid for the NHS and they're entitled to use it as anyone else.
But if they can afford,
we can all see it's not working.
And Carol's point about Rishi, he is so spineless. He's such a poor communicator. If he can't even admit to having private healthcare,
but you know, Belinda, he can't win on this, because if he went on the NHS, people would say, "Oh, you're taking up an appointment that I desperately need. I can't afford to go private." If he's going private, they're saying he's a rich git who thinks he's
but that's why,
too
Carol,
good.
Just be honest.
Just be honest. You should have said it.
Your truth and explain why.
Because she went back to him 3 times on that.
We don't want to be one of those countries